G'day, so I did a video a little while back on how to update the firmware in a controller and also how to fix one that won't boot. And I think there might have been just a little bit too much in there, and it might have all got, muddled up what you actually need to do for each process. So I thought I'd do one just on how to fix a controller that won't boot. So as we can see, this controller doesn't boot. So what we want to do is we want to replace the boot and the bootloader in this device, which is fairly straightforward. I'm not going to go into how you set up the driver to be able to connect to the device. I will drop a link to Donovan's video in the description where it shows how to do that. If you're on Windows 7, you'll find that driver signing is disabled. So you will be able to just connect and load the driver in as normal. So as you can see, this controller just doesn't boot. So let's turn it off. I'll also drop the two files, links to the two files in the description as well. And apart from that, you need a computer and a USB cable and obviously a broken controller. So the first thing we want to do as part of the process is put the controller in a mode where we can actually write to that boot and bootloader, because we want to overwrite them. By default, if you just turn it on, you can't access that through the USB cable. So what you need to do is hold down the start, stop and the return to home buttons so that the controller turns on, and we're now in that special mode. So the two commands I'm going to run, so the first one is to update the boot on the device. They both run fairly quickly, and you're just looking for it to say that it was successful. So those bottom two lines, they both need to be success. So as you can see, that one was successful. We'll then run the second one, which is the bootloader, and it's around about the same speed. So we'll run that one as well. And that looks good too. Generally, as a rule, just run these commands inside PowerShell, and yeah, you're good to go. Righto, so this controller should now be fixed. So if I power it off and power it back on, it should boot as normal. It's also worth noting we have a Discord server, and there's a couple of different channels on there. One is in relation to sales. If you want to sell a Karma drone, you can advertise it there. But we also have a couple of channels on how to fix certain issues. So there's one on the pairing issue that a lot of people suffered from. There's also one on controllers, and then just some others which have just kind of organically grown out of people trying to do the pairing fix, and they were having issues with their USB serial device or PuTTY, that sort of thing. So we've created other channels as they're needed. So if we turn this one back on, as you can see, we've got the GoPro splash screen, and then it'll kick over into the status screen where it shows you it loading. So at this point, this one looks good. We'll just let it get to the screen. Obviously, you'd want to just make sure that everything else is working fine. This one was set to default just before. This one was set to defaults just before it broke. So yeah, it's not actually connected to a drone, but you'd want to check all that sort of stuff out. But as you can see, this one's working as expected. All right, as I said, there's an invite to the Discord server in the description below. I hope this helps. We have had a few people say that, yeah, their controller just broke and would no longer boot, and suffered from exactly that. When you power it on, you basically get, a grey looking screen. Alrighty, thanks for watching.